about this for a Monday nightcap? LeBron James and the Lakers looking to bounce back after they lost to the Raptors, taking on the Jazz in the second game of our doubleheader on ESPN. And we'll look ahead at what Donovan Mitchell and Utah can do against the top team in the West, as we'll be with you for the next 30 minutes, leading you up to tip there in Orlando. Welcome into Hoop Streams. I'm Cassidy Hubbarth inside our Bristol studios on ESPN's campus, and I'm always joined by my mains. We got Big Perk in Houston. What up, champ? And Amin in Arizona.
Hey. Amin, you got a haircut yet?
How's it going?
No, you know he didn't. You can see it.
Man, you see how I'm living. You see how I'm living, bro.
Look, see, here's the thing, Perk. Look at you all suited and booty late at night. We saw you all day today, starting with Get Up, then First Take, then The Jump. You haven't taken that suit out. You usually get all comfortable for our show, but we've seen you all over the... Yeah?
Don't you do that now.
No.
That now. I come suited. I come suited and booted too.
No, I know, but you look proper, and we've been, a lot of people have been taking notice. Actually, this morning on First Take, you were looking a little uncomfortable. I'm not talking about your suit. I'm talking about your face. And Jay Will was getting under your skin a little bit, and you were not hiding it. Not hiding it. And you know who else noticed? Our guy, Baron Davis. He tweeted that you look like a kid in the principal's office, like you got in trouble for something you had nothing to do with.
You know what? Because they tried to treat me like Max today. They tried to team up on me, and I wasn't having it. I stood my ground today, Cassidy. I stood my ground today, Amin. One deep. I was standing what I believed in.
Well, we know that you're comfortable here on Hoop Stream, so just, you can loosen up the tie a little bit, Perk. You can loosen it up. We're always, we're always happy to see you here on Hoop Streams. Probably happier than people who are playing golf with Kyle O'Quinn are. Did you guys see this? You see what he's doing on the Disney golf courses?
Man is a monster.
I mean.
Hey, Cassidy, you know what that is right there? That's called Jamaica Queens right there. That's because the Queens, New York came out of Kyle O'Quinn.
Look, if he's hitting the golf ball like that, maybe I shouldn't be so embarrassed of my golf game and get in some practice while I'm there. I'm just saying. You guys jealous of me going to the bubble yet?
Yeah, I am.
I'm gonna wait till you
you
report back on what it's like.
That's true. That's true. As you know, I'll be very, very busy with games, though, because they don't stop. Today, we've already had, it's a six-game slate. We're taking you into the sixth game of the night. But first, let's go inside the bubble and the action that is underway right now. The Grizzlies are taking on the Pelicans on ESPN and the ESPN app as we speak. The Grizzlies were down double digits, but have stormed back in the third quarter to make it close. Memphis still holding on to that A spot despite looking for their first win in these seeding games. We see Zion Williamson here with a big jam. He's getting 5-minute bursts now, guys. So far.
My man Anthony Tolliver, he's always on the wrong end of these highlights. Anthony Tolliver.
There's always. I mean, look. We got to have the Aaron Baines out there somewhere. Pelicans are up 79-74 at the end of 3. It was Zion with 14 points and 6 rebounds. Guys, this is also a battle between the top 2 picks in the draft. We had a little bit. John Morant struggled a little bit. He's had a rough night so far from 3. But I want to take it inside a pickup game with these two. If you guys were, the captains of a pickup game, between these two guys, as it stands right now, Perk, who are you picking, Ja or Zion?
I'm going with John Morant. Listen, Cassidy, if I was the GM of the Pelicans, if I was David Griffin, he would have been my number 1 pick. This is a guard-driven league, a guard-driven world. Big men don't exist no more. I need a guard that's mobile. I need a guard that I know that's going to be there, light on his feet, high jumper. He's like everything. Give me Ja Morant, period.
I mean, I saw your face. You hate this question?
Damn. Well, I hate this question because obviously Zion right now isn't in the best of shape. But when he's in shape, before I get into Zion, let me just say, Perk, you done turn your back on the secret order of big men, man. I'm going to talk to Mark West and Mark Bryant and all the old school bigs. They're going to tear up your card, Perk out here. You said there's no place for the big man. What's you supposed to be the person who's defending the big man on this show?
Even listen, just because you're 6'8" and 7 foot, that don't make you a big. Bigs don't exist no more.
Who's
Jokic
7
is
feet?
not a big man. He's just tall.
Oh, okay.
Jokic is just tall, right? He's a point guard. Zion is not considered a big man. He's like I don't know. He's different. He's a unique type. He's not a big.
Yeah.
Okay, so now answer the question.
Hey,
now.
I mean, he got a
Otis
big body.
Thorpe and Charles Oakley and all the old school Shaq, all of them are like, damn, Perk, you're supposed to hold it down for us, man. Look, I'm taking Zion to answer your question. If he's in shape, obviously it's different circumstances. He was away for a while, he was quarantined, he couldn't work out. But when he's in shape, he is a game changer on both ends of the floor. That is what his potential is. That is what we saw earlier this year when he played. And I believe some point next year, we're going to see the real Zion Williamson. I love Ja, but I'm still going Zion.
Yeah, he played a total of 29 minutes in the first 2 games so far. Is 15 minutes, 14 points. Look, again, this is a pivotal game. Some may say a must-win for the Pelicans as they're in that 11th spot right now. Because right now, the team that holds that 9 spot is the Spurs, and they are currently taking on the Sixers. And right now, the Sixers are up 28-25. DeMar DeRozan, hot start early, 11 first-quarter points. And you know, this is a big game for the Sixers.
Of all time, DeMar DeRozan?
Not according to Perk.
Well.
What you said to me?
I said, is that you mean the greatest Raptor of all time, DeMar DeRozan, not just regular DeMar DeRozan?
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Kyle Lowry is there, but that's another discussion.
Just right. That's another.
Hey, Cassidy.
What?
Can we talk about the San Antonio Spurs, though?
Let's get into it.
Everyone, including myself, how we slept on them. Can we please talk about them?
The floor is yours, my friend.
Do it.
This is what I'm saying. When LaMarcus Aldridge decided to have surgery and not go to the bubble, I don't know why everyone counted out the great Greg Popovich. I love what he's doing. When you look at this Spurs lineup, they have the perfect lineup to go small, right? They got a lot of firepower. They playing small ball, one big, spreading the floor. They got a lot of guys that are dangerous, that could create for themselves. I love the idea because, again, this is like a pickup AAU type setting. So I love the adjustment by Greg Popovich. The Spurs, hey, way to go.
They moved
now
from
they still got to finish the task.
Yeah, they moved from 12th place to 9th, just 2 games out of that A spot. So, you know, flowers to the Spurs, but you're still not picking them to make the playoffs, are you, Perk?
You know what? I don't know who's going to make the playoffs anymore because
no one knows.
I had the Pelicans. I'm saying I had the Pelicans, and then all of a sudden they come down to the bubble with a different agenda. Portland dropped a major game last night, in my opinion. So right now, I'm like, okay, maybe Memphis is going to hold on to this spot. That's what I'm thinking. It don't matter anyway.
I'm going to give you a strong take right here, Cassidy. You looking for a strong take? I got a strong take for you. Portland, even though that was a heartbreaking game yesterday, I still have them as being the team that's going to face the Lakers in the first round. I think the Pelicans and the Grizzlies and all these children and the Kings, they can go home, they can go to Disney World, whatever. This is going to be a race between the Spurs and the Blazers, and I think the Blazers are going to be the ones that end up facing the Lakers.
Wow, and if the Spurs don't make the playoffs, of course, their 22 straight playoff appearances, that streak will come to an end. Let's keep it moving. Earlier, the Nuggets beat the Thunder 121-113. They did it without Dennis Schroeder, who left the bubble for the birth of his child. The Nuggets' Michael Porter Jr., though, went off. 12 of 16 for 37 points. He also had 12 rebounds. Jokic came up big in OT. He had a 30-point triple-double, 10 assists, 12 rebounds. And Paul Millsap, he added 17 and 6. But did you guys see this? Obviously, we know, some players have been wearing social messages on their jerseys. And Millsap chose the word vote. But his jersey number is 4, so it looks like he's campaigning for president. Vote for Millsap.
Hell, I'll vote for him. I'll vote for him.
You know,
I
Amin,
would
though.
too.
Amin, how do you feel about the messages on the jerseys after seeing them throughout this first weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I like them. You know, obviously there are players that said they wish they had more options, and I understand. And if you had better options, it would kind of really stink to feel like you couldn't use those better options in this scenario. But I like them. I like the idea that they put the names on it because I got a lot of friends who are more casual basketball fans who are trying to watch the game and said, I don't know who anybody is. And so this was a necessary step, even if the jersey looks a little bit like an essay right now.
Perk, I have a little bit of the issue that the NBA didn't allow Jimmy Butler to have no name on the back of his jersey. I thought it was originally because, you know, they needed to have an identifier. And so, like, for instance, LeBron James has no message, but he has James underneath. But if you have just a social message, you don't have your name underneath. So I was like, well, they probably didn't want Jimmy Butler to have it so they could have some sort of identifier. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And I don't know why they couldn't have adjusted the list. That's just that's my only issue, especially since he gave them enough time in advance to kind of change their minds there.
I agree. Listen, what Jimmy Butler did, what Jimmy Butler came up with, that was the best idea, right? Because just think about it. He came up and he was basically saying, without Butler on the back of my jersey, I'm just another African-American man. But with Butler on there, I get special privileges. What we do, right? As players, as a former player, we get special privileges. For example, it's been times that I done got caught, I done been in situations, and I done got out of those situations because of who I was. That's the message, and it's a powerful message. And I thought at this time, Adam Silver, being a players commissioner, and y'all know I always praise him, I thought that he could have went back to the drawing board, maybe back to the round table, had a discussion with Jimmy and said, you know what, this is a real good message, this is powerful, we're gonna let you do it. Because I really applauded it, and I agreed with it 100%, and I supported it.
Yeah, and I know a lot went into with the NBA PA deciding this list. And when we were talking earlier, I mean, you said there's a lot that went into it, and sometimes it's just, you know, you got to order off of the menu. But I guess I wish, without knowing as much as I could possibly know about the negotiations around this, I just wish they would have been a little bit more flexible. But I digress. Let's move on. Speaking of Jimmy Butler and the Heat, the first game of the day was a good one. But before things got started, check this out. Terrence Davis, he showed up to the game with a hole in his mask. Come on, man. I mean,
come on, bro.
I know. That's not it. That's not it.
Man.
As far as on the court, Fred VanVleet dropped a career-high 36, including 7 threes and the game-sealing steal. Toronto still undefeated inside the bubble. VanVleet was also perfect, 13 for 13 from the line. His previous career high was 34, and that came against the Pelicans last December. And look, I know you're smiling, Perk. I know you're smiling.
Listen, all I want to say is that the other day, Amin told me that, oh, the Raptors don't have their superstar. They don't need a superstar. Matter of fact, they have an elite player in Pascal Siakam, but I told you this the other day. They have a lot of guys that are capable of having big nights. The Hoop Stream show that we pregame before the Lakers, it was Kyle Lowry night. Tonight against a tough Miami team that play hard-nosed defense, it was Fred VanVleet. The next game, it may be Serge Ibaka. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, Amin. They got a team full of offensive weapons where they could score in bunches. But
closers?
They hang their hats on the defensive end. And again, they reminds me of the 2004 Detroit Pistons.
Don't say it.
He did.
Don't say that.
I said
Don't say that, man.
I said it.
This is what
I said it.
This is what I'll say, Perk. First of all, you made it seem like I said they were like, or I won't say you made it seem. Raptor fans made it seem like I said they were garbage or something. I've been sitting here alongside with you saying, yeah, I think they might go to the finals. I said the thing that I questioned is, do they have a dependable enough guy who, when everything breaks down, can continue to get buckets? These are regular season games. I'm not talking about regular season. I'm talking about in the playoffs when you're game planning for people, for Pascal Siakam, for Kyle Lowry. Are they capable of going and getting one against all odds in the same way that Kawhi Leonard did in Game 7 against the Sixers in the conference semifinals last year? That is a question that I have. I saw a game today where Pascal Siakam wasn't that aggressive at the end of the game. I saw a game today where the Heat were down and were able to make a comeback because the Raptors had problems generating points. In the end, Fred VanVleet saved the day. But, Perk, you said one thing that is completely accurate. They hang their hat on the defensive end. Today was a clinic defensively. Watching the Toronto Raptors play defense, that's one of the best defenses I've seen in a long time. And in that aspect, if you want to compare them to the 04 Pistons, I'll accept it.
And then, okay, so what wins championship? You from the old school, right, Amin? You old school, right?
I am from the old school.
You consider yourself
yes, sir.
one of the, you're old school. What wins championships? Defense. That's what the Pistons did.
Yep.
They locked up the Lakers. Defense win championships, right? So just hold that L.
That's fair. That's a comparison. That's fair.
All right, well, you know.
Hold on, wait. It ain't an L.
No.
You didn't change my mind.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's just glaring because we're the biggest question or hole is who's going to be the closer for them. And they lost, probably one of the best. Closer's a hard word. One of the biggest stars in the league, but, in Kawhi Leonard, who you knew was the go-to guy at the end. So I just think it's a little more glaring, but that doesn't mean that guys like VanVleet and Siakam can't step up. To be determined.
Just don't say Norm Powell.
Yes, to be
Just don't say
determined
Norm Powell
come these playoffs. Do you know who's getting buckets, though, lately? TJ Warren, Pacers and Wizards. He followed up his 50-piece with 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks, and a plus 25 on the floor. Come on. Also, no Oladipo, who rested on the first night of back-to-back. We'll have more TJ Warren later in the show. But, man, how about it?
Oh, no, he's been tremendous. And it's so great to see people get an opportunity. Perk, I know you know this. So many times in this league, people want to tell you what you're not, and they don't really focus on the things that you are great at. And it takes being in a right situation with a team and a coach who understands your gifts and puts you in a position to succeed. And I'm so glad that TJ Warren has been able to do that.
Seriously, and I'm waiting for that.
But you know what?
Yep.
But you know what I mean? Cassidy, I mean, the guy's averaging close to 20. He's been averaging almost 20 points a game at 50% shooting the whole season. He's been slept on the whole season. So, I mean, but right now, he is in his bag. Oh, my, he is in his bag. But he's taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your eye on TJ Warren. It's been a busy day. And, again, we're leading you into Lakers and Jazz. And we haven't even touched on all the things that happened yesterday. But we did want to share with you our favorite thing about last night. And it comes courtesy of this man right here, the great Greg Popovich.
Well, I was just curious if you know yet whether Bellinelli will be available today.
Yeah, I'll answer that in a minute, but I just want to make a little statement here. You know, we're all here with, we're going to play basketball, but we all, our number one priority as far as the country and our society is concerned is racial justice and actually racial injustice that exists in our country and trying to make everything just for all people. But just as a reminder, in this world, a lot of people really do not understand the breadth and depth of this horrific situation that Black people have been in for so long. And I just want to give you one example. And we're all doing this on our game days as we find an opportunity, just so people understand how gross we have been, not just now, but in the past. It didn't just happen. It's been this way for hundreds of years. As an example, today, 120 years ago in North Carolina, a constitutional amendment was approved. And what it did was it established a literacy test for Black people that they had to pass before they could vote. White people did not have the same literacy test. And it was so gross that they made a rule that if you had a relative before 1863 that had voted, and you're still illiterate now, you can vote. So that meant white people could vote if they had a relative before 1863 who voted. Well, black people were enslaved and didn't have any relatives before 1863 that voted. So they were disenfranchised. And there's a former Confederate officer, William Guthrie, who on the eve of the election made a statement and basically talked about, you can find it, in the entire quote, but basically said this was very necessary to protect the white women, that they can't go out on the streets and they can't feel safe when they're alone, and we have to keep the quote unquote colored people away from them. So he emphasized this just on the eve of the election to make sure that their way would be found to be the rule that people had to live under. And this sort of activity went on over and over and over again for all this time. And again, it's about education and culture. And none of us knew these kinds of things. None of us were taught these things. Black, brown, Asian, Native American, doesn't matter. None of us were taught these things. And hopefully if people understand how gross this situation really is and how long it's been this gross, maybe we can make some headway. Marco Bellinelli is out tonight.
If you didn't hear the first part, that was the answer to the question, what is Marco Bellinelli's status for tonight? Perfect. That's why, for me, Greg Popovich won the weekend. But for more winners and losers from the first weekend in the bubble, I'm going to hand it over to the great Amin Elhassan.
Yeah, that's right, guys. There are winners and there are losers, and I'm here to tell you who they are. We'll start with the Phoenix Suns. They're winners, and here's why. 2-0. They beat the Mavs last night off a big comeback. They're developing. Their young guys look better. This is a great opportunity for them to get better as a team, even though they're not going to go to the playoffs. Don't get excited, Phoenix. But this has been awesome for Phoenix. But on the other side of that, there are some losers. And losers like the Sacramento Kings. Why are you even here? If you're going to get blown out by Orlando, you might as well have just stayed at home. You're wasting everybody's time. Just pack everything up. Get your coffee maker.
They're getting some cardio in. Getting some cardio in.
Yeah, no, they can do that on a Peloton. Get out of here. Hey, winner, TJ Warren. We talked about him earlier. This is a guy who got an opportunity to ball out, and ball out he did. This is where names are made, and this guy upped his value. But you know who's a real loser? The Phoenix Suns are losers.
Wait
That's
a second.
right, you can be winners and losers. You traded him for cash considerations, and you gave up a second-round pick. What were you thinking? You had this guy in your system, and you had no idea he was this good of a player. You are the big losers, Phoenix, for giving up on such a talent. And finally, winners. The great Bill Russell. Ladies and gentlemen, he's still alive.
Oh my
I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. Somebody was talking about, Bill Russell's looking down from heaven and is very proud. I said, wait a second. He's alive, and there he is. He tweets about it.
Yeah, props to Bill Russell. That's really funny. He's a good tweeter.
He's awesome.
He's sarcastic too. He likes to, show people a finger or two. That's from time to time. Hey, Amin, I think you left a winner off your list out of spite. You want to know who it is?
Who's that?
Jason Tatum.
Who?
Because he's proven that a fresh haircut can really get your situation right. You had a big bounce back game with 34 points in their win over Portland. Nothing like a fresh haircut. Nothing like a fresh haircut.
You know why I don't like Jason Tatum? Because his hairline is too strong. It reminds me of my hairline when I was young. That's why I don't like him.
It's super strong. All right, Perk. Those were Amin's winners and losers. I'm going to give you one winner. Who's your biggest winner from the weekend?
Just one winner?
I'm sorry.
Look, can I give you two winners?
Two winners and one loser.
Houston.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the Houston Rockets, right? James Harden and Russell Westbrook and the Houston Rockets winners. They won both games. They beat Giannis and them yesterday. James Harden locked Giannis up, put him in a body bag and zipped him up. Russell Westbrook attacked him on the other end and got to the free throw line down the stretch. And then what they did, they come back against the Dallas Mavericks. They shined. They were plus 20 in the fourth quarter in overtime in those games. So they are winners. The losers are the Dallas Mavericks. Luka and Porzingis are putting up big numbers, and they are taking L's. What's going on? Like, your duo cannot be putting up those type of numbers and losing games. So they are losers. Now, I have an unsung hero that is a winner. Ben McLemore. He's been playing incredible basketball since Eric Gordon has been sitting out. No one has been giving him recognition, but he's been coming up big for the Houston Rockets. So he's a winner in my eyes.
So we go from one winner to three winners. But, I only limited you because we didn't have a fancy graphic like we had for Amin. But I appreciated the contribution. I really did. One team still trying to be a winner, the Pelicans, and that game is in the fourth quarter, winding down. As soon as that's over, we'll be watching the Lakers face off against the Jazz. You can watch all of it right now on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Big shot.
Look, Zion entered in the fourth quarter. He has 19.7 rebounds. It's a close one, just a 7-point lead for the Pellies right now with about 5 to go, again, on ESPN. And right after that game, Lakers and Jazz, that brings us to our main attraction. Lakers, they're still kind of tuning up as LeBron searches, for some rhythm on the offensive end. Perk, what are you looking to see from the Lakers here in their remaining 6 seeding games?
Well, LeBron got to get in attack mode. Like, to me, he's been starting games off trying to be a true point guard and trying to get everyone else involved, and I think that hurts his game offensively. I want to see the LeBron James that got over 30,000 points in his career. I want him in attack mode early, and if he have to dish it, he dish it. But I want to see the old LeBron James getting to the rack, in his bag, fadeaways, whatever the case may be, dunking on people. I want to see him get back into the floor of things and not just being the facilitator.
I mean, on Saturday against the Raptors, LeBron and Anthony Davis combined for just 34 points. They had a season-low field goal percentage from the floor. Was it just exhaustion, you think?
Yeah, for me, my focus was more on Anthony Davis. I don't mind if he scores 14 points or 11 points or whatever it is. I mind that he takes 7 shots. There's no universe other than a 40-point blowout in the Lakers' favor where Anthony Davis should finish the night with 7 field goal attempts. Even if he was 2 of 30, he's got to keep shooting. That's part of the burden of being a superstar, and that's part of the burden of being a superstar next to LeBron, which is why Kyrie was such a good fit there, because you knew Kyrie was always going to be aggressive, looking for a shot. That's the role Anthony Davis plays now. I look at the fourth quarter of that Clipper game, I look at that Raptor game, and I see Anthony Davis kind of floating in and out of the action. I want to see him more engaged tonight.
The Lakers, they can clinch the 1 seed with a win tonight. They would be the first team in NBA history that earned the top seed in their conference immediately after a 5-year playoff drought. But Perk, as far as who they don't have on the court right now, obviously Avery Bradley's not going to be there anytime soon, or at all, and Rajon Rondo's not going to be there anytime soon. Who do you think they miss more? Is the loss of Avery Bradley going to be a problem for this team?
Well, to me, they miss Rondo, that IQ, that guy that comes in and runs that second unit when LeBron James goes to the bench. But that's why I'm lobbying for Dion Waiters to get more minutes. He's a guy that has been playing fantastic down there in the bubble. Not only can he create for himself, but he can create for others. And listen, I understand all the stuff that's been going on with Dion Waiters outside of basketball, But when that man steps between those lines, he's a hooper. I remember when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, when they blew that 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors, Dion Waiters was holding his own, and he was balling. So Dion Waiters is, what, 29, 30 years old, a guy that's still in his prime, and he won it. So please, Frank Vogel, give that man some more action, man. He wants the smoke.
We'll get into the Jazz in just a bit, but I do want to get you another update on what's happening in the Pelicans and Grizzlies game, because that game is currently on ESPN or the ESPN app. You can log into your cable providers now in order to watch the game. It's 98-93. Brandon Ingram has been cooking late here for the Pelicans. Again, it's a tight race at the bottom of the West. The Grizzlies currently hold that spot. Pelicans are 3.5 games behind the Grizzlies, but sit in the 11th spot currently. Neither of these teams have won a seeding game, and Zion is currently in this game, so he is well over the 15-minute mark that he had the last 2 games. I do want to get back to talking about the Lakers' opponent tonight, which are the Jazz. And their offense has struggled since the restart. They're scoring just 100 points per game. And they've struggled to fill the void of Bojan Bogdanovic. I mean, he was a secondary scorer to Donovan Mitchell. How can they find more offense for this team?
Yeah, what you're missing from Bogdanovic is 2 things. One is obviously he's one of the best shooters we have in the league, so there's a respect factor. Whenever he's on the floor, even if he doesn't touch the ball, it makes life easier for Donovan Mitchell to drive and create and have space and room to operate. But also, he's a pretty good playmaker. You put the ball in his hands, you can put the ball on the floor. He makes passes for others. He makes everyone better. To me, that's the part that can be replaced a little bit with Joe Ingles. He's not going to do it on the same level that Bogdanovic did it, but they definitely need that secondary playmaker, because Donovan Mitchell has a propensity right now in his young career to kind of force the issue a little bit sometimes, play a little hero ball. He needs to take a little step back, but in order for him to do that, someone else has to take a step forward.
I agree. I mean, listen, this is the thing about Donovan Mitchell, right? To me, this is our audition for him, right? This is our audition to show the Jazz that he's the #1 guy, and he's not doing that. You look at his first game, he was, 6 for 18. Then he went 5 for 16. Just being inconsistent. If it wasn't for Jordan Clarkson coming in off the bench, providing that spark, the Jazz would have lost that game also. Donovan Mitchell, this is his time to show that he's a Batman, or at least a guy that the Utah Jazz could build around, right? He's auditioning. No Bogdanovic. This is when you're supposed to elevate your game. This is supposed to put your big boy pants on and show them that you're ready. Huh?
What do you think? What do you think? Is he a #1? For you, is he a #1 for you?
I don't think he's no, he's not a #1. He's a #2, #3 type guy on the championship team. But I'm saying this is a perfect stage for him to prove everybody wrong and show the world that he is a #1 option.
Yeah, I mean,
because I don't believe he is.
If there is an audition, playing against LeBron James on a primetime national game is a good place to prove yourself. So that's coming up your way in just a few minutes, as soon as the Grizzlies and Pelicans wrap up. But before we go, let's get a buzzer beater in here. And do you guys think, I gotta ask you, do you guys think this tomato looks like Larry Bird?
Shout out to Etan Thomas. I think he's the one that posted the picture and said, "This look like Larry Bird." Yeah, Larry Bird after a pretty bad sunburn.
Oh, no, we didn't put it on. We didn't put it on him. Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I would watch a game. I would watch a game like this. It really, it's too
crazy
good.
It smiles just like Larry with a frown.
It does. Oh, that's a perfect note to end the show on. Let's look at the score of the Pelicans Grizzlies one more time. What just happened?
Going.
Yeah, yes, it's 106-90.
The game is still going. What are we doing? We're not going anywhere, are we?
Well, we can keep going. You want to keep? So I want to talk about Zion Williamson. He's right now with 23 points in 24 minutes. Like the time is now. You got to let him go, right? I'm glad that they loosened the reins on him a bit in this game.
Well, this is what I'll say,
listen,
Cassidy. He's played better today.
Go ahead.
Like, a lot of people made a big deal about his minutes as if it were just them scared about his health or whatever. Yes, health was a concern, but he didn't play well in those first 2 games. And so that's the part that I think people kind of miss, especially in that first game. They're like, he scored every time he touched it. Yeah, but every time he was guarding somebody, they scored too. There's 2 sides of the game, and remember, he's a young player. He's still being developed. He has to learn how to be able to stay on the floor, and it's not just by scoring.
But I mean, you don't give any credence to the fact that he couldn't get into any kind of flow playing 2 minutes at a time.
See, that part of it goes to that part of it to me goes to the medical staff, and I know those guys. I've worked with those guys, and they don't do anything haphazardly. They don't do anything off the seat of their pants. There's a lot of research and a lot of science between every decision they make. And so for them to play him that way in that first game, after, remember, he was gone for 12 days, no practice, no running, no gyms, nothing. And to drop him into a live NBA game, if they say that was what the research said, I'm believing them. I'm going to trust them.
We just saw LeBron James and J.R. Smith do a little football pass as they continue to warm up. But my point is, I wasn't second-guessing the medical team. I was just more talking about, you're saying he didn't play well. And I'm saying it's hard to get into any kind of rhythm when you're only playing 2 minutes at a time. That's my point.
Be the breaks.
Unless you perk, Cassidy. Unless you perk, you know what I'm saying? I can go outside right now and strap him up
Always
in
ready.
his zone. I'm just saying.
Always ready.
Yeah, you know that. You know that. I'm just saying. But listen, this is the thing about Zion, right? The Pelicans are so much better with him on the court. I get it, but he caused so much attention. And by the way, he's an underrated playmaker. His IQ is off the charts. He plays winning basketball, and I know he's going to have some highs and some lows. You have to realize and take in consideration that he left the bubble for a family issue. We do know that he's dealing with a lot off the court right now, with lawsuits and all type of stuff, with all the hype of being the #1 pick, as being one of the stars of the NBA. So we do have to give him a little leeway because, again, this young man is 20 years old. 20 years old, and he's one of the most talked about basketball players in the world, even over LeBron James. So he do have a lot on his plate. He do hear with the social media, he hear the whispers, oh, Zion is overweight, Zion not healthy, he looks horrible. Like, the kid got a lot on his plate, and in my opinion, he's handled it very, very well.
Yeah.
He haven't lashed out. He handles the media well. He's very mature, and I'm glad that he's playing good today. I'm giving him his flowers.
Third game is a charm. Second leading scorer on the Pelicans.
I want to say, Cassidy, that's one more thing on his plate, is that Perk didn't pick him. That's another thing he just added onto his plate, but it's all good. I'm with you, Zion. I believe in you, even if Perk don't.
I still got Ja Morant. I can't go wrong with that.
Just a final look at the Pelicans are playing this one out. Zion finished with 23, and Ja Morant finished with 11. 1 of 10 from 3 for Ja Morant.
Ooh, come on, Ja.
As soon as that game wraps up, again, Lakers, Jazz on ESPN and the ESPN app. Make sure to log into your cable provider now to watch that game. I'm headed to the bubble on Friday. You guys wish me luck. I'll keep you updated. I'll send you some updates from Orlando. The next Hoop Streams is coming your way on Wednesday. Enjoy the game. Thanks for watching.